Shut up.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page, and I'm being joined today. Do not adjust your television screens, guys. Do not adjust it anything at all. This burly, bearded man is making his debut on our Beyond the Bells. I'm talking about my man, UK Paul. How are you, brother?
I am doing pretty good. Looking forward to my Beyond the Bell debut with this cat that we're going to talk to.
I know that you're excited about this. You've been excited about this since this was lined up last month, to be fair. But before we get into our show, and I am equally as excited to talk to our guest today, buddy, we've got some announcements to get through. We are 6 days away from what exactly, Mr. Paul?
We are 6 days away from Chapter 4, Legends Rise, where CCP Podcasting we will get our first ever heavyweight champion.
That is absolutely correct, guys. This has been a thing since November. We are here. We're knocking on that door. We are 6 days away. An 8-man single elimination tournament going down in Castleberry, Florida. Tickets are available at ccppodcasting.com. And this is a loaded lineup, guys. We have got in your opening round, Skrilla the Great, sponsored by Goth, taking on Dallas Dash. Also, first round match, we've got Yasin Khan, Primal Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion, coming from San Diego, in the house to take on Kid Kuda. Matthew Ennis and GMJ, as well as Slade Porter and Baracco. One of those cats is leaving Chapter 4 as our first ever heavyweight champion. I cannot wait. It is going to be exciting. I am equally as excited for several first-time ever matches. Devious Cass and Jake Redondo. Jake Redondo just came off of a tour in the UK, had a fantastic run out there, had a blast. I chatted with him about it literally last week, as a matter of fact. Devious Cass is another guy that's on the radar, man. Both of these guys are going to be snatched up in the next 2 to 3 years tops. And we've got the first ever meeting going down in Castleberry, Florida. We've also got the first ever meeting of the anti-executive champion from the Establishment Wrestling. That title on the line, Elias AK-47 Roman, Shannon's favorite wrestler, guys, taking on Noah Vale. We've also got 6-man tag team action and tag team action on deck. Paul, this is shaping up to be a fantastic night, and history for us is going to be made, man. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. Looking forward to whoever's going to be our first ever champion. Even a Dingleberry could win this title.
Well, we don't want that. We don't want him at all. He can fuck off. He's a douchebag. Yeah. We don't like him. Matthew Ennis is a chode and a half. But it's going to be a great night, guys. And Chapter 5 is literally right around the corner. We are 2 weeks after that, May the 16th. We're back in Orlando in the Castleberry area. And I've already announced here to our channel, it's not publicly announced it yet, #1 contenders match, Devious Cass and J2 Mattioli. That will be going down on the 16th. And I will tell you this, I've got a massive main event. Our champion, whoever comes out of this with the belt, is out of the frying pan and into the fire in a very big way. Keep your eyes peeled at CCP Podcasting over on Instagram for all of your announcements, guys. This is going to be a fun ride. Almost as fun as this conversation that I am so excited to have. Paul, you went to Wrestling Resurgence, and something that we as a channel, because there's 11 of us, and we have strategically placed ourselves all over the world so that we have an opportunity to dive deeper into the independent wrestling scene than any other channel that's out there. And to do that, we got to make shots. We got to go to shows. We got to go and we have to put our face out there, because there are so many talented pieces of talent out there that we will not see unless we get out of our own comfort zone. A part of going to Resurgence, you have brought us a guest today that, after seeing some of his matches, I told you the first one I saw, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The guy's got it put together inside the ring, and he is so young, and he is just getting started. This is exactly the kind of conversation I want to have. So I want to turn it over to you, sir, about our guest, and go ahead and introduce him so we can bring him on in.
So I met this guy at Wrestling Resurgence. He had a fantastic match and I got to spend a good 5 to 10 minutes talking to him. I am talking about Denzel Mack, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live, sir. How are you, buddy?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing very well today. I've been really looking forward to having a chat with you guys since this was put together a few months ago. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here and looking forward to it.
I'm excited. I think that anytime we get an opportunity to sit down and talk to people, it's a way to further educate ourselves, really and truly, not only with you, but the scene that's going on out there and what you have going on, man, because I'm telling you, when Paul brought this to the table, he was like, we got to talk to this guy. And I was like, set it up. And he did. He set it up with a quickness. And I went, well, we're on the schedule. Let's go. It's been a wild run. Goth over in the Netherlands says, welcome to CCP Podcasting. He's over on Twitch. If you guys are joining us across all of our platforms, go ahead. If you have questions, drop them. We'll get them worked in, I promise. Mr. Mack, I like to start my conversations at the top. And for me, it's not where you lace a pair of boots. It is where does fandom intersect with you? We've heard video games. We've heard live events. We've heard people falling in love with it on the independent scene in general. Everybody's fandom starts somewhere. Where does yours begin?
Yeah. Mine was a bit of everything. So, oldest memory of wrestling was Paul London and Brian Kendrick on SmackDown every week against Duce and Domino. Duce and Domino had Terry, Paul London and Brian Kendrick had Ashley, and I would watch as much of SmackDown as I could before I had to go to bed, because at the time I was really young, and then it felt like every week I was getting cut off as they were having a really good match. Just watching them two run into the ring, do a backflip, do the handshake in the middle of the ring. Honestly, they were just like the coolest guys ever. And then just the dynamic between the two teams was just really cool. They were complete opposites, and then they just always worked together really well. Had great matches, and it was just so much fun to watch. And then from there, it kind of evolved into the video games. I was always big on the SmackDown vs. Raw. I had every single game, even this year's one I literally bought last week. So that the games was a big part of it as well for me.
Video games was the thing, and has been a theme, if you will, when I talk to the guys of the younger generation. And if I say kids, I do not mean it disrespectfully. I do not at all. And I find that, that is very interesting. But then for you, we've had about 150, 160 conversations, and outside of one other person, they've brought up Paul London and Brian Kendrick. And you talk about a tag team that, to me, was a little criminally underrated. At the time, there wasn't a heavy emphasis on tag team wrestling, but they had it put together. They had that shit down to a science. I love the fact that those were a piece of what drew you in. And then, of course, Duce and Domino don't get any love. So to be able to throw them out there, man, I like it.
Yeah, honestly, two criminally underrated tag teams in my eyes. I love them so much.
Domino is actually down here on the independent scene in Florida. I've seen him a couple times since then. Yeah, he's doing some stuff down in CCW here.
Paul London does a few seminars down in London here as well, every now and then.
Paul London was wrestling a friend of mine, Matthias, last weekend for SoCal Wrestling. He's Matthias SoCal Pro Heavyweight Champion. Paul London got in there and did their 20th anniversary show. The fact that he's still going and still working is great. It's just one of those things, man. I love the fact that was a piece of it. And tag team wrestling at that. I think tag team wrestling is underrated.
It's weird to think I was watching them on TV over 20 years ago, and now they're doing seminars at schools that I train at.
Yep. Did you get a chance to go? Have you been to one of his seminars when he was out that way?
It was pretty booked by the time I saw it.
Oh, it had already come and gone.
I couldn't get down there. I know. I think he's doing a couple more, so hopefully I'll definitely be able to get down there at some point.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
To finally meet him.
Paul, what are you thinking about the tag teams drawing him in to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, tag team wrestling was a love of mine to get into as a fan. So, Demolition just became Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
We've had Barry Darso in your seat before too, Mr. Axe himself. So he's a hell of a guy. Well, let me ask you this. So, obviously fandom is what draws you into wanting to step in the ring and do this and try and figure this out to see if this if this is even something that you wanted to try and do. What does the process look like for you when you decide that this is definitely something you want to try? And how did you look into training facilities and training schools for the UK? And that may be an ignorant question. I'm from the States, so I just know that it's a little bit different everywhere. But how did you get
Yeah.
your start in your track?
So at first, where it was a thing that I kind of grew up on from really young, I always knew at some point in my life I'm going to do it. It was just a matter of when there's going to be a school near me, because I think maybe, I don't know if it was at the time, maybe it just wasn't as accessible as when I first wanted to get into it. Because in 2019, I did one session with a school that was about a 50-minute drive from me, and like, I loved it. I was definitely going to go back, and then literally a few weeks later, COVID happened. So at the time of the first session I did, I said, okay, I'll go back after college. And then COVID struck, and then the world just kind of like shut down. And then everything was just closed for ages. And then eventually, I think it was about 2023, I finally saw the school that I most frequently train at, called Play Fight London. And they are about 10-15 minutes away from me. So then, like, post-COVID, I got into there 2023. And then sort of the rest was history. I was just sort of there like every day of the week, pretty much. And then like the coaching staff there was just like absolutely unbelievably stacked. It's like the Avengers of British wrestling that coach us every single week. So honestly, it's like, I think it works out for the best for me because I'm in like the right place that have given me the perfect opportunities to grow and make a name for myself in the industry.
Let me ask you this, because I think that, and while COVID, I try and find silver lining in everything, right? And there's really, it's hard to find a silver lining with COVID and what happened with the pandemic. But where I do try and find that silver lining is when I look at independent wrestling. And I think that, COVID was something that it's tough, lives lost, but it allows you guys with the world shut down and I think that it's responsible for the boom that we see now within independent wrestling, because for a year and a half, you don't have anything to do but either train or get yourself in better shape, because we know that we're going to come out of this at some point in time. And there's a nice big handful of guys that took that time and utilized it to get themselves prepared for what's come after the fact. And I say that because I want to ask you a question about it. When COVID was a thing and you weren't able to get in there and train, and you weren't able to get into the ring and wrestle in front of people, what were some of the things that you did to occupy your time? And I say that because Brother's in good shape. Like, so that you had to have gotten yourself and kept yourself and maintained the shape that you find yourself in now. What were some of the things that you did?
So right before COVID, I'd done Taekwondo for about 7 or 8 years. So I'd had like a good level of fitness and athleticism before that. And then sort of once COVID struck, at the time I had done a bit of boxing just before, and then COVID struck. So I was mainly just sort of, I had like the little home bench press, flat benches, and I was just sort of doing as many home workouts as I could. But it was really difficult at the time because you haven't got the motivation of going to the gym, being surrounded by the same people that are doing all these different exercises. It's literally going downstairs into the garage and just like having to power through it yourself. You haven't got the equipment to have the full type of workout you're used to having. So that mentally for me, I found it a lot harder of just, can I be bothered? When is the gym's going to open? Is there a point of me doing this for like, just doing it in general? It was very tough at the time, especially not knowing the situation that was going on in the world. But it was sort of just a lot of home workouts to try and stay in as best shape as I could. But I was always in the mindset of, when I eventually start wrestling, I know I'm going to need to be in good shape. So for as long as I can remember, I've always just sort of been trying to sort of work towards it, even without directly being in a ring, taking bumps and doing everything like that.
Well, it begs the question too. I always love asking this when you start really getting into training. You come out of COVID, everything is now getting back on track. The world is kind of correcting itself, and you're able to get back into a gym. You're able to get back into the ring and pick up where you left off and try and hone in on what we see today. What were some of your strengths and weaknesses when it came to the training aspect of it alone? I know everybody's is a little different. Mine was footwork initially, and you would think that wouldn't be a thing. I was a basketball player before I got into professional wrestling. But I had 2 left feet, man, and it was tough, but I honed in on it. What were some of the things that you had to work on, and what were the things that came to you a little naturally?
The things for me, I always feel like there's 2 different types of people that start wrestling. The people that get the physical stuff really easily, and then the people that get the character stuff really easily. I've always been a physical guy because of the background of sports that I've done and played back in the day. So the actual running the ropes, taking bumps, I had like the mental commitment to just sort of send my body into it and just sort of just throw it to the wall and then hope for the best, pretty much. So like the physical side of it, I always found that I was a bit stronger at compared to people that I started with who had maybe theatre backgrounds and were really good at cutting promos and coming up with ideas for their character and stuff, which even to this day is stuff that I like still really struggle with. But I mean, yeah, for me, I've always sort of been like the physical side of things and never the theoretical type.
Well, see, this is what I love about professional wrestling is you just said a minute ago, like, you know, the character aspect of it, right? This is like literally the only sport that you can go out in front of an audience and try anything. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it's, well, all right, I tried it. Now I can go figure out something else and figure out what does work with it. And I used to use that to my advantage. And for me, I was never going to be the biggest guy, right? Like I was a puny kid at fucking 17 and 18 years old. I never was going to be jacked and stacked, but I had a mouth and I could talk. And I figured that was where I would be able to be more beneficial because I could talk people into a building to watch me get my ass kicked. And I loved it. It was fun. And it's just one of those things that it's a trope within professional wrestling to be able to try different things to figure out what works in front of what audience. And it's just something that takes me back. What were you saying?
It's really scary to just say, okay, I'm going to try this today because it's the fear of the rejection from the crowd, them not taking you in and going with the idea that you have, because you can have this like perfect bulletproof plan in your head, and then when it comes to the actual execution of it, it's out of your hands. It's all down to the perception of how the crowd see you. Like, yeah, it's really tough to just say, I want to try this today.
It's the psychology part of it. You know, it's how you can finagle and put stuff together to make that audience appreciate it. Like I was one of those cats that I could never, and even today, like when we run live events, I listen to the guys and they're putting their matches together. And like, I want to do this, I'm going to do this. We're going to go to this spot, and this spot. And I just sit back and I'm like, how do you remember all this shit? Whatever happened to just let's go out here and work the crowd and let the crowd tell me what's going to work and what's not going to work, because I always had a fear of that. Even in my day, I couldn't do it. I would work with guys and they'd be like, we're going to do this, and I was obviously a heel, so I was calling the match. No, the fuck we're not. We're going to listen to these guys, and if it dictates, we'll do it. If it doesn't dictate it, we're just not going to do it. So, I mean, I get it. And even now, like, I think with me, I never had a fear of failure because I learned this at a young age. I always had this phrase that stuck out is if you're afraid to fail, then you're never going to succeed. And I don't know where I heard it, but it stuck with me. I heard it from way back in my early teens. And it's something to this day that I still use as a life point. If I'm afraid to fail, then I'm not going to succeed. Doesn't matter. So it's just one of those things. I don't know. I get one ran a show and I just used it 20 minutes in. This is not looking good, Paul. I think we may get another one at some point. But I mean, come around to you. What do you got on some of the earlier stuff that we've heard about?
Oh yeah. So you talked about your training. You said you have the Avengers of training. So would there be any nameable? Like, would we know any of your trainers?
Definitely, yeah. So on that Resurgence card that you saw me at, Carver Noir is one of my trainers.
Nice.
At Play Fight London, I've got Carver Noir, Nina Samuels, Danny Black, Spike Trevay, Connor Mills, Tate Mayfairs.
It's a murderous row, brother.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. And over at Catch 22, I've got Mike Bird. And over at Hustle Wrestling, I've got Sid Park. So, like, yeah, I've got like an insane list of coaches.
I love that. Sorry to cut you up. I loved that match, Mike Bird and Amira at Resurgence. It was just comedy and errors. It was hilarious.
Yeah, honestly, I wish I got to see it in person. Like, it sounded really fun.
It was great.
I said it just a second ago. That is a murderer's row of just insanely talented people that have had a
Yeah,
hand in bringing you up, man. And I want
yeah,
to ask you this because I really think that that is a huge plus, and now a lot more makes sense to me based off of what I have seen from you. And I have seen probably 4 or 5 matches. We've watched a couple of them on live streams, and I've watched a couple privately. But that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense because you have a polish to you inside the ring that when I watch wrestling, I watch different things. I watch different aspects. And I may watch one match 2 or 3 times because I'm missing something somewhere and I like to study.
yeah,
And hearing that you're training from a who's who out there on that side of the world within the independent scene is absolutely incredible. What have been some
yeah.
of those teachable moments that you've been able to take away from all these different brains? And I know that may be an open-ended question and it may be a little hard to answer, but if you could just think of a couple of things that have been beneficial that you might not have picked up elsewhere.
So more recently, I was speaking with Danny Black, and like I was saying, how I struggle with the character stuff. I sort of picked up from him that it can honestly take a very, very, very long time before you find something that works for you and that you'll be able to go with. Because I was speaking with him about it, and he said he sort of had the similar problem when he was first starting out of where do you find where and how do you find your identity as a wrestler? And he's just sort of helped me understand that I don't need to battle and rush into it as much, and it will sort of come naturally. Yeah, definitely character stuff, just patience with it and let it come to you.
Well, I can
And
definitely
that's
resonate with that. That
yeah,
because, and I say that because I had my first character was a failed character, right? Like
yeah,
my friends told me it was awesome for a year and a half before they were like, "Yeah, that's terrible," and
you
we've
got
just
all
been,
types of friends.
yeah, we were ribbing you for a year and a half, and it wasn't until then that it clicked for me, right? And you won't know until you know.
Yeah,
And you'll know when I created the chronic Chris Page character. And a lot of
yeah,
guys will tell you, you know, stick more to yourself and as far as what you want to portray in real life versus what you're portraying, you're gonna probably find a little bit more success. All I
yeah,
did, it was just it came naturally to me. I was a pothead back in the day, so Chronic was easy, and Diamond Dallas Page was my guy in the late Attitude area. So it was like CCP made sense. Didn't
yeah,
really
yeah,
didn't really resonate though until about 6 months down that line. But when that switch flipped, I said, "We got it. This is now I know." And I learned that from Ricky Morton. Worked
yeah,
2 weeks with the Rock and Roll Express, changed my perception on professional wrestling and what I was doing. And you don't know until you know. But that's again the beautiful thing, man. You can go and try anything. And
yeah,
if it works, you're gonna know right then and there. And it actually brings up a pretty good question and a good little segue here into what we see today, right? And what we have seen across YouTube or wherever you're consuming the product, guys.
yeah,
What we see with Denzel Mack, what's been the evolution, if you will, because you get through training and you obviously get to your debut, you got to have a little something put together for that debut. So before we get to making the debut, let's talk a little bit about putting together the presentation.
yes. So initially, Danny Black, Mike Bird were also some of the ones that helped, and Joe Lando were also some of the ones that helped me see that my original plan for who I was as a wrestler was terrible. Because my original name was Victor Lee, and that came about honestly because it sounded like victory, and I was like, okay, my name sounds like victory. I'm gonna get booked to win a lot, and I'm just gonna have an amazing, successful career. And yeah, that got proved wrong very quickly. I think I went about 4, maybe 5 matches with that name before I became Denzel Mack, because everyone just said your name is cool, just use it. And then that also, I think, worked out better for me because rather than trying to figure out who a made-up character called Victor Lee is, I can just be me, Denzel Mack, and then I can try and hone out who I am as a wrestler, as a performer, what my motives are and intentions as to why I want to wrestle, beyond just me having a love for it as a child.
You know what else is fantastic about using your real name? Nobody can
No one.
fucking trademark it. it's yours.
It's on my birth. This.
It is indeed yours. Nobody can take it from you. You can't take what you own, sir. So I love a little bit about what we're hearing here, because like for me, when you're putting things together, this is I always think it's the funnest time for professional wrestling, and being a professional wrestler is working through the kinks and fine tuning what you want to perceive and what you want to put out there. And in the same vein, man, making your debut. Let's talk a little bit about that for you, and what does that mean to you to be able to finally walk through the curtain for the first time and be able to work in front of a live crowd that's not your friends and not your family. This is putting into practice everything that you've learned from the murderer's row of coaches that have been able to mold you a little bit.
The debut for a lot of people is usually crazy nerve-wracking, and it was in a way for me, but basically my debut match was a Rumble where I came in number 1, because I think the promoter didn't know that it was my first ever match, and said, "Oh yeah, you're in good shape, you can come in number 1 and then just be into the final 4."
Yeah,
so,
why not?
Yeah.
Sent me in number 1, and luckily the person that was number 2 was someone called Alexander Lockhart, who I train with. So me and him had just been doing a load of like practice matches and training, so like we knew each other's movesets like the back of our hand. We already had that in-ring chemistry, so we just went in there, pulled out an easy sequence that we knew, and then the person that came in number 3 was another person that we trained with. So honestly, it just worked out so nice and perfect, and that really like eased the nerves for me. And yeah, honestly, it was just so much fun. It was only like an outdoor funfair show, but I was still like breaking it a bit going into it, and then just having them there with me made it 10 times easier.
Isn't it funny how just having that support system of just having a couple of guys that you are familiar with, how it can just totally change the entire perspective of what's going on and how it's going to, because I think deep down inside, you know that they're not going to let you fail. You know, like it brings a different level of comfort, especially in a debut situation, and being able to get out there. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of Rumbles. I just think that I understand why we booked them. I did. Well, let me backtrack. I understand why I book them. I don't, as long as you guys are getting paid for your appearance, I'm cool with it, but I'm not cool with it if it's hey, we're going to do a Rumble, but we're not going to tell you, you can come for exposure. No, we're not doing that. That's not beneficial. Like, yeah, you can try and expose someone's talents, but at the end of the day, like we don't have anything if we don't have you guys. So we have to make sure that we take care of you. And that's where I think we're a little different, not just with live events, but also with stuff that we do behind the scenes that nobody ever knows about. We don't, we try and really utilize what we've built to make this space better for everybody, because I do think that we can all work together and level this playing field a little bit more, where everybody that we think needs to be seen can be fucking seen. And it's kind of crazy when you sit back and think about it. We started at zero, and now we're over 1 million plus. And it's just kind of like, how do you give that back? Well, you give that back to you guys the best way that we can. And we make opportunities and do odds and ends, and, debuting in a battle royal. I got 2 rants. That was my battle royal rant, guys. Sorry. Getting that experience though is invaluable. How do you take that into what's transitioned since then? Let's talk a little bit about, thus far. When did you debut exactly? Because I'm not 100% familiar.
Debuted in May of 2024.
So you're coming up on 2 years here.
Yeah, just real soon.
See, and now that makes me makes me want to go back and backtrack because I think I've only seen stuff from 2025 and a little maybe one from 2026. Paul, you have a job to do. You're going to go find me some stuff from 2024.
I'll get on it.
I like to see, but I like to see where it starts and where it progresses to and how quick it progresses because there's a lot to this, man, and a lot to professional wrestling. And when you got it, you got it. And what I've seen from you, you got it. And I'm very curious to see, excuse me, to hear more about the road over the last 2 years. What are some of those highlights for you? What are some of the stuff that really stands out? It could be matches. It could be, being able to pick the brain of somebody. Like, what are some of those moments?
For me, everything just sort of felt like it came about very quickly. It was just sort of like 100 miles an hour from the moment I debuted. Because I was always fortunate enough that from the moment I debuted, I've never sort of struggled to get bookings, essentially. I think I've got the amazing list of coaches, they've always sort of put me over with a lot of promotions and stuff, and that has helped me get my name about a lot quicker than others have the opportunity to, and that has just helped me massively to be able to get a lot of regular work and continue to face some really good names, and then sort of build the portfolio for myself, and then get onto the higher level shows. So for me, the highest shows that I've been on in this country are TNT, where Tate Mayfair's is one of the main champion there, and has been for 900 plus days. And that wouldn't have happened without people like Danny Black and Spike Pavey and all my coaches putting me over and getting me these opportunities. So I think they've massively helped and accelerated my progression within the industry. And I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without a lot of them and the backing that they've given me.
But they wouldn't make those moves and make those vouchers for you if you aren't able to deliver. And I think that is what speaks volumes, right? And for somebody who's been here for 2 years, and TNT is a really good company over there, and that's a company we've been watching for a hot little minute. That I think that they showcase the next up on the BritWres scene, in my opinion. It's just these are the guys that you need to be paying attention to now, because they're going to be at Progress, they're going to be at Rev Pro, they're going to be at these other major companies that are coming and much sooner rather than later. And I think it's great, to be perfectly fair, because it's the epitome of sink or swim, right? We can say you're ready, they can give you the match, but it's up to you at that point to go out there and put into practice what you've learned. And it to be able to do that and do that in a position that you're in now is really good, and it's something that you are doing, right, and that you're taking care of and that you're managing. And they gave you the tools, but you went out there and you put them into practice. It's like leading a horse to water. I always say I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make them drink. They laid you to the water, and buddy, you drank. And you're making a really big name for yourself out in the UK. And I think that for you, it's going to be really cool to see, and just to sit back and watch as you progress and as you move forward, because you've already done a lot of stuff now. And even coming up here in the near future, we've got an affiliate of ours hitting the turnbuckle. You're challenging for their championship. So Adam hits me up as soon as he sends and I intentionally tagged him on it too. So as soon as he saw it, he was like, "Oh, he's challenging for my championship." I was like, "Yeah, no." I said, "We're going to talk to him. We're going to talk to him about it, because I love what he's doing over there. I think that that he is kind of the UK equivalent of what we're doing here in the States and as well as internationally, and is really making a big."
Just honestly. The nicest man ever, giving so many people the platform to go and showcase what they can do on Ignite, and that's a really good show to be on. So, massively grateful.
I want to talk about it for just a minute. When you get the call that says, "Hey man, would you be interested in?" and now you've got yourself a shot at their big belt, and that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. What are you thinking? What's on your mind about it?
I'm very much looking forward to it, in the ring with Chris Aries, the amazing, the unbreakable Chris Aries. I've been in the ring with him a couple of times before, but this one's going to be I think this one's going to be very different to any other match we've had. This one being a big title match put together by Adam. It's honestly just going to be really a fun day. Yeah, I can't wait for that one. That's going to be really cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing that and seeing what the result and how that plays out, because I've been obviously keeping a close eye on what he's doing, and dude has sent many people my way that are here in the States that for live events and shit of that nature. So anytime I have the opportunity to pay that forward to him, I will definitely do it. And that was a big piece. I was like, oh, he's challenging. We got to talk about it. Get to put his name out there and give him some flowers, because I just love what he's doing.
Yeah.
What you got, Paul?
So you say you faced. You say you faced.
Oh, sorry, just get the charger.
No worries. So you say you faced Chris Aries a couple of times before. What's the sort of? So is it 2-0 to you, 2-0 to Chris? Is it 1-1 in the matches?
What was that? Sorry.
So you say you faced Chris Aries before a couple of times.
Yes.
What sort of have you beat him? Has he beat you? What's the overall score?
So he beat me, unfortunately, in our first ever singles.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of rumbles together and some scrambles where neither of us have won. So the score currently is 1-0. But on May 3rd at Ignite, it's going to be 1-1, and I'm going to take that hit in terms of championship.
I was just about to say, it sounds like we got to knock that score. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like we got to get a Denzel dub here, and I'm all for it.
We need it.
I'm for it, man. I'm for it. What other kind of stuff do you have going on? What's where are you working at now? What are some things that you do have coming up here in the near future? And companies obviously is a big thing for me, because the more I hear, the more I'm able to go out and research. And obviously, I'm all about stumbling across those hidden gems that you should be watching and you should be talking to. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about 2026. It's obviously just getting started. Where are some places that you are out actively doing some stuff?
So just last week, I made my debut in Italy for Premium Championship Wrestling, where I faced the great Omar Prince and then Adriano Romano. That was like just two massive learning experiences for me, and like a real eye-opener as to like how good the scene is over there as well. Because like, those guys, honestly, they're amazing. More recently coming up now, I've got MVK at TNT. Back into singles action there, so I'm looking forward to that. He's a hard-hitting person, and so am I, so we're going to have a very good heavyweight class there. It's going to be really good. This Saturday at Catch 22, it's going to be Alexander Lockhart and Denzel Mack against the Catch Regiment. They're the second best tag team at Catch 22. We are the best. We're going to beat them. We're going to continue rolling, picking up the momentum, picking up the win, and proving why Catch 22 Pro Wrestling is the place to be.
I love it. I love it, man. And outside of where you got coming up, what are some of your goals for 2026? What are some of the things that you're actively out doing? Obviously, you just talked about debuting in Italy not too long ago. Like what else is on that bucket list? What are you trying to get done this year?
This year, my top two goals were the international booking, which I've secured with Italy, and then I've got some more stuff potentially lined up in Austria later on this year. So that should be very good. And the other goal was to get onto Progress Wrestling. So hopefully, if they're listening, I'm here for the taking. I'm just waiting for the call up. I'm ready to get my super suit on and get going.
We have some friends in Progress. So that was one of the first companies that when we started internationally, and I went to Australia and then we came to the UK, I was like, we gotta try and get in with Progress. And of course, at that point in time, we were at our infancy, right? So it's like paying dues, just like anywhere else. With the realm of podcasting that's out there are people who are here today and gone tomorrow, and there are people that maybe don't have the best intentions, but you have to go through and show people, right? So Progress was the first company that I was like, I'm gonna fucking show you. I'm going to show you what we can do. And I'm going to show you what the power of the platform is. So we were able to.
The list of people that's come out of there is unbelievable. There in RevPro, it's just at top of the top right now.
RevPro don't like me. They're not my friend anymore. It's I've tried to apologize. So back in the day, infancy of the channel, got to go back. I didn't ask a whole lot of permission. I just did, right? Like I would think that people are going to think that you're watching their stuff. They're going to be all for that, right? Like putting it out. Should have asked permission. And I get it, and I was wrong. And I had aired the Oku Osprey last match that they had. Prior to Osprey being signed to AEW. I had a friend who got me the link on didn't ask questions. I just said I'm gonna watch it. I ended up putting it out as a single watch along. It got like 25,000 hits on fucking YouTube, and I've since taken it down and issued a formal apology for posting a match without permission and learned that and use that as a teachable moment. So I'm still trying to repair that. And I will still do that, which I get it. I understand. It was a big match, and I, maybe said do a better job of locking the link down. I don't know. Like it just came my way. It was fantastic. It was it was a great affair, and one of those that to me will stand the test of time on the BritWres scene.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was like my favorite match I'd seen that year. Honestly, it was amazing.
Let me ask you this too, because now it makes me want to ask this other question. Like, what are some of your other go-to matches that are out there for you that you would either tape study or, some of that stuff that just it will not get old and you will watch and watch and watch that's on the scene out there?
For me, I love the 2016 Cruiserweight Classic, Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander match. I feel like I go back and watch it at least like twice a year, every year since it's been out. That match was just, for me, I grew up watching WWE, and I never really acknowledged too much wrestling outside of that. So to come in and see like two guys that I had never seen before, Kota Ibushi from Japan and Cedric from like the American Indies, it was just like a whole new mind-opening experience of just like, damn, there's wrestling everywhere, like, and it's very good.
It opens your eyes.
Yeah, 100%.
Telling you stuff.
And I always go back to Undertaker and Michaels at Mania as well. 25.
Which one? There's two.
The 25. Both of them are excellent. 25.
I could sit down and watch either one of those matches over and over and over and over and over again. The whole
That's
program.
Like I would show someone to get them into wrestling.
You could show them any Shawn Michaels Undertaker match. You could go back to fucking the first Hell in a Cell, or you could go back prior to that when they hooked up in a singles match. I forget which inner house it was, but it was like a double count out or double disqualification that led to Hell in a Cell, and then you got those are the ones. Those are priceless gems. Yeah. Paul, what you got, my man? Coming around to you.
So you talk about favorite matches. One of mine is Bret Austin at Mania 13. That was my big. Before we hit WrestleMania 17, that was my favorite Mania match ever.
Yeah.
What changed at 17? The gimmick battle royal?
No.
Oh.
I think 17 for me. Honestly, the ladder match, Hardy's, Edge and Christian and Dudley's TLC match was just
TLC 1. Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, that was 2, isn't it? Mania 17.
Yeah, that was their second one. That was
their second one. That was unbelievable. That was just unreal. The Avengers all just assembling, Lita coming out, Rhino, like it was just sick.
You had everybody. That was a great time for professional wrestling. Yeah. It truly was.
That was the year I was born. But it's just one of their matches. It's so well talked about. I've had to go back and watch it, and I've just been watching it back ever sinst.
Well, if I didn't feel old before, I definitely do now. Jesus, thanks, bud. Appreciate you for that one. Just kidding. Denzel, man, let me ask you this, because I always say our these initial conversations when we bring people in, they're the surface scratchers, right? Because our platform is really, it's all about long-term gains over short-term. It's long-term relationships. It's building them. It's cultivating them. And truly, it's is the start of what I feel is going to be a really great relationship with you. And a piece of what our platform does is really utilize what we've built and what we continue to build. And this is where I say with anybody who comes in and talks to us, it's kind of the last segment of the show. You take as much time as you need to answer these questions because we cast a wide net, very wide net. And to me, they're the most important questions because again, this is how we can help you and how we can show you that we're these guys, man. We're not just fly by night. We're here. We're not here today, gone tomorrow. We're here for the foreseeable future, as long as you want us here, brother. So I say that to build it up. And the first question that I've got for you is indie wrestling. Like I said, it's on fire everywhere, on every major continent. You've already started doing some stuff internationally. I know that there's probably some more places that you're going to want to hit. And I know that there's some companies out there that you're going to want to dip that toe in and you do some work for. Who are they? Who's on your radar as far as companies, maybe continents, wherever? Where would you like to go? And where are some of the companies that you'd like to work for?
Companies I'd like to work for, top two, Progress and RevPro. Obviously, just like those are some of the best promotions in this country has to offer, and I want to be able to put myself on that level and that platform, and to be able to hang with people at that standard. I would love to wrestle a lot more international dates. France, I've always heard, is a really good crowd, so I would love to go over there. I would love to go anywhere in America because I came over for a holiday about 2 years ago, just in Orlando, and that was just beautiful. So I'd love to come back and wrestle there.
Bro, you're in my backyard.
I know, yeah. It was like a few minutes walk away from the performance center. No, a few minutes drive, but like an hour walk. So I wanted to just go there and just look outside and then just go back home, but I didn't get the time to, unfortunately.
I'm telling you,
Orlando was beautiful.
You get back to the States and you get to the Orlando area, I will take you to the Performance Center so you can take a peek at it, brother. Like,
thank you. That's the deal.
that ain't nothing. We can drive by it. You can get out the car. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, man, except go in because we don't need you getting locked up.
I'll just wait for everyone to come out and give them a high five.
I ask those questions, man, like for real, because we do have a lot. We know a lot of people. We're always breaking new ground. And with you being on that side of the country, the continent, like we're starting to really get in with Pro Wrestling Holland, which is over in the Netherlands. There are some more reputable companies that we are definitely knocking on that door of that I think that you would be fantastic at. And I'm dead serious when I say if you do make a trip to the States, like get with me ahead of time. Give me an advance notice. We will put a fucking booking card together for you and throw that shit out there and tag everybody we know that wherever you're going to be. If you're in Florida, as an example, everybody in Florida, all the way up through Georgia. If you're over on the West Coast, all of our friends on the West Coast, we will move some fucking mountains, man, because you're one of these guys that I do think this needs to be seen. And I mean that, not just because you're sitting here, because I do mean it. And Paul feels the same way, or he wouldn't have said, hey, we need to get him on. We need to talk to him. He's great. And then he starts showing me matches, and then I start seeing what he's seeing. And this is the power of the platform. It puts me in a position to sit down and have this conversation and actually find out, what do you want to do? Because we can try and help you get to where you want to get to. And that's what this is all about. And the next question, you've probably been asked this one a million times as a professional wrestler, but I'm going to ask it because I have deeper intentions of wanting to know this answer. And it's really people that you want to work with. Who's out there, whether it's in, over on the Brit scene, whether it's international, whether it's over here in the States, who are some people out there that you think that you're going to, if you were to be able to mix it up, that you could have a really good match with?
So I would love to step into the ring with Michael Oku, The Reef, Carver Noir, over in America. I would love to wrestle. For me, my dream matches recently have just been Braun Breaker, because I feel like I'm watching a lot of his stuff and taking stuff that I can do for myself. Cedric Alexander, because he was just in one of my favorite matches of all time. Buddy Matthews, he's someone that I've always sort of thought he is the type of wrestler that I want to be. Same with I love Mustafa Ali. And who was the other one? There was another one. Anytime I could just meet Jeff Hardy, that would be incredible. And yeah, I think those are sort of the top few at the moment. Yeah.
Well, there's some good names on that list for sure, and like I say, we ask for other reasons, because while yes, I am across the fucking world, it doesn't mean that if there's an opportunity to put you in the ring with one of those guys that we won't say, hey, we'll sponsor that so we can make that happen. Because again, it's just what we do and how we operate. It's all about you guys and what you want to do. And if we can get to, it's happened many a times where we've gotten guys their matches that they want, and it's moved the needle for them and put them in a bigger light. And that's the name of the game. It's a beautiful thing when we can make that happen. My last question that I've got for you, I consider this the most important question, because for me, it's how our platform continues to evolve. It's how we continue to grow. It's how we continue to hone in on those hidden gems that maybe we don't see all the time. Who are some people out there that you think we should be watching? It could be people that you've been in the ring with, that you've trained with, that maybe just need that little spotlight put on them. Who are some of those cats out there that you are aware of?
So over here in BritWres, there's a who's who of like so many people that need a bigger spotlight. But the top ones that come to mind are Tommy Kyle, an unbelievable professional wrestler, and I think he should be on the higher level of this country on the shows that he's on. He is just unreal and a super nice guy. A lot of the guys that I train with at Playfight are in need of a lot more work, because they are just criminally underrated, and that's guys like Delphine, Jay Alexander, Pupsins, and Cody Side, who Alf Edwards, Lincoln Spector, Alexander Lockhart, Tig, all these guys. They need to be more places, because they are just very good. Someone on a larger scale that I want to see get more appreciated is probably Cedric Alexander again. I just love him. And definitely, I was going to say Dragon Lee, but he has done really well having the tag team with AJ Styles recently. But yeah, he's someone that I think could definitely have like a really good singles career. And those are sort of the top ones that come to mind. I know there's a lot more in WWE, especially.
I got you. I love hearing the names that I'm not familiar with, right? Because to me, that's where I will dive deeper.
Pac as well. I would love to see Pac become a world champion.
He's on the cusp, man. It seems like every time he gets rolling, something, either he gets drawn back or he gets something, maybe an injury, or there's something that will halt that process for him. But he's one of those cats that's absolutely fantastic. And you mentioned earlier, Buddy Matthews is another one of those guys. We're friendly with with a project of his in Australia. I'll say that, and so I don't give too much away. But there's a lot going on, and when I hear some of this stuff, it just makes me smile, because like I just see so many different possibilities and maybe some avenues that we're able to help you with down the line as you continue to progress forward. Because I think you're on the cusp of really being one of those guys that is about to break out in a really, really big way over there. And what starts over there will branch out, and it will go international quick when it does. And it's just going to be one of those things that's going to be real cool to sit back and watch. Paul, let me come around to you. Do you have any last minute questions? Anything you want to throw out there before we start tying a bow on things?
So the names you shouted out. If the guys that run Wrestling Resurgence are watching this, please book Denzel Mack versus Kyle Noir at Resurgence. I would, mate, just take my money.
Yeah, well, I'll caveat that and say if our friends at Wrestling Resurgence will book that match, we will take care of it. so we can make sure that it happens, because that's just something that we will do. And you know how to reach me because you've done it and I have reached to you. So that avenue and that door is 100% open. And that goes for anyone that's on Denzel's list. Maybe it's not Car Noir. Maybe there's a couple other cats out there that you did hear and you think that that'd be a good match. Well, take all the excuses away, because we will do our part to make sure that we can make some of that happen. Mr. Mack, before we get ready to close things out, man, I like to give you the floor. If there's anything else out there that you want to talk about, if there's anything you want to plug, man, the floor is yours, and go all by all means.
The only thing I would like to say is just continue to support independent wrestling. It is very special to a lot of people. So much more work goes into it than a lot of people than meets the eye, and a lot of people understand. And it's just an insanely talented pool of people that are just trying to do their best and chase their dreams. So please continue to support independent wrestling, and just continue to make it a super safe, loving and friendly and welcoming environment. And wrestling is for everyone.
100%. And we always say wrestling can bring people together, and it does every day on our platform, guys, and on our channel. We bring you as much as we can from all parts of the globe. But a big piece of that, guys, is by showing your support. And how you can do that is by sharing, and subscribing. And it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's been on the screen the entire show. Hit up Denzel. Check out Denzel Mack _PW. It's over on Instagram. Follow him. Check out what he's got going on, because I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed. This guy is someone that is serious and is going to be on the comeuppance way sooner rather than later, if you ask my honest opinion. And he's somebody that you need to be watching. Promoters, if you're checking us out right now, Brothers International. He's obviously got his passport. He's ready to go. And all it takes is a DM, and you can set something up, and you can work something out, and you can put him in front of your audience. And when you do that, he has a way of connecting. We've seen it. It's going to happen. If you're not following us on social media, shame on you. Don't know what to tell you. We dive deeper into the independent scene than anyone I know, and we bring content every day. Any day that ends in a Y, we're on the air. And we've got so many great talented people like our man Paul right here with us that help us along the way. And if you're not following him, do that too. Help booster his social media status and have him compete with Goth, because Goth loves to tell people he just broke 1,000. So get Paul back to that spot, make the competition real, and have fun while you're doing it. For our guest today, Mr. Denzel Mack, for my co-host this afternoon, UK Paul, I am Chris Page, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.